Next up, we got the most feared player in the modern NFL, Aaron, or should I call him Aaron Donald. Now, sad to see him go, so I think this video is perfect. All right, if you want more Aaron Donald videos, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's just hop into it.
Man, 10 years, and just like that, it's over. It was a glorious 10 years without question, and I was blessed to have watched every single game. One of the greatest decisions the Rams organization ever made took place during the 2014 NFL Draft. They held the 2nd and 13th overall picks in the first round.
Known as Phil Dunphy.
That's right, Phil Dunphy is going to select this pick.
The reason for that was due to the infamous RG3 trade that took place a couple of years earlier. St. Louis now held the rights to Washington's 2nd overall pick, and with that,
RG3 was on what team, dog?
Infamous
Rams have agreed to a trade in principle with Washington Redskins, who apparently spent a... Oh. Wait, did they trade picks? Did they trade picks? That's what it was? Who apparently spend the number 2 pick. Have agreed to trade in principle with the Redskins, who apparently spend the number 2 pick on Heisman Trophy winning Super Bowl. Robert Griffin trade confirmed by ESPN. And Nora Rams will acquire number 6 overall pick as well, number 39. Oh, the Rams will now own the 2013 and 2014 first round picks. So I didn't know the RG3 was on the Rams, or maybe when he was on the Rams. I just remember RG3 always on the Redskins. Like, he just like a Redskins player when I think of RG3. Maybe did he play for the Ravens as well? I don't know. My NFL knowledge.
RG3 trade that took place a couple of years earlier. St. Louis now held the rights to Washington's 2nd overall pick, and with that, they selected left tackle Greg Robinson.
Okay.
What? Yeah, a lot of those picks from the Washington trade turned out to be duds. Greg Robinson also turned out to be a massive bust, but thankfully they were able to salvage this draft with their next selection. With the 13th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the St. Louis Rams select Aaron Donald, defensive tackle, Pittsburgh. Safe to say this pick did a little more than salvage their draft that year. Looking back, this was the first move that really sent them on the course to becoming Super Bowl champions. And not only would this player turn out to be the best from the 2014 draft class, but also you can make the argument that Aaron Donald is the greatest defensive tackle ever. Born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Aaron Donald was a pretty big kid growing up. However, his work ethic was always questioned by his father. Before he was a teenager, his father would wake him up at 4:30 in the morning and work out for hours in their home gym. With all the work he had been putting in at an early age, it began to pay dividends on the football field. At Penn Hills High School, he was a beast, as he was selected to the first team All-State class in his final 2 years. While he started at offensive guard, defensive tackle was of course his main position. He was ranked inside the top 40 among defensive tackles coming out of high school, and according to Rivals.com, he was a 3-star recruit. What we know of him now, it's crazy to think that he wasn't a 5-star, and the colleges he was getting offers from weren't exactly competing for the national championship. Akron, Rutgers, Toledo. Yeah, Aaron Donald almost played in the MAC. That would have been insane. But he ended up playing in the ACC because during his junior year, he committed to his local school, the University of Pittsburgh.
Was that paid, man?
During his junior year. year,
Oh, no,
he committed to his local school, the University of Pittsburgh. Well,
hilarious.
Big East for the first 3 years, and then the ACC his senior year. While he played his freshman year, he had to wait until his sophomore season to join the starting lineup. And once he was in, he never was taken out. By the end of his college career, he had accumulated 115 solo tackles along with 181 total tackles, 66 of which were tackles for loss, along with 29 and a half career sacks. He also took home 8 different awards his senior season, including the Lombardi, Bednarik, and Nagurski awards. Entering the 2014 NFL Draft, he was destined to be a first-round pick, but he wasn't even considered the best defensive lineman in his class. Jadeveon Clowney was selected with the first overall pick to the Houston Texans, and the other defensive players that were taken over Aaron Donald ranged from Khalil Mack to the Raiders with the 5th overall pick. Justin Gilbert.
Khalil Mack low-key been... Justin... Do I remember his dude name? Justin Gilbert. That low-key rings a bell, but... I don't know, that last name Gilbert is like, I don't know.
From Khalil Mack to the Raiders with the 5th overall pick, Justin Gilbert with the 8th overall pick to the Cleveland Browns, and Anthony Barr with the 9th overall pick to the Minnesota Vikings.
I don't know, it was like 2017, 2018, bro. I used to use the Vikings on Madden, bro. This was literally golden years. I probably still got clips. I literally was a user guide, bro. I'm telling you. Lord Jesus. Do not throw it over the middle. All right, Anthony Barr. Now, the Vikings was a trash team, but they did have a good defense. That was the only thing that's good about them. So if you was good enough, you could beat people with good offenses, and you got a trash offense, then you was just sweet. And I was using them. You know, Cap? No cap, bro. I remember Anthony Barr, bro.
To the Cleveland Browns, and Anthony Barr with the 9th overall pick to the Minnesota Vikings. When Donald was finally selected, there were a few in the media that felt this could be the steal of the draft, including Skip Bayless tweeting, "I love Aaron Donald, consider him a steal at this point. Rams rising, just not sold on the quarterback." And really, that describes the Rams rising, just not sold on the quarterback. And really, that describes the Rams' last 2 seasons in St. Louis. While the offense was inconsistent, those St. Louis Rams defenses were absolutely cold. The defensive line was certainly the strength of their defense. You had Chris Long, William Hayes, an all-pro defensive end finally did so, making his first career start on Monday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers. It didn't stop him from winning NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year and being named to the NFL's All-Rookie team, as well as his first Pro Bowl selection. By the time the Rams moved to Los Angeles, Donald was not only a 2-time Pro Bowler, but now a first-team All-Pro. The Rams' first season in Los Angeles is covered in depth by Amazon Prime in their All or Nothing series. I highly suggest watching it because not only do you get a glimpse of what it was like for the Rams to relocate, but also you get a glimpse into the work ethic of Aaron Donald. It also marked the end of an era, as Jeff Fisher was fired during the season, and during the 2017 offseason, Sean McVay was hired as the new head coach. Aaron Donald was already on course to becoming a Hall of Famer, I feel, at this point, but this hiring really propelled his career into the stratosphere, especially with the system he was bringing in. Sean McVay loves running a 3-4 defense, and in their first couple of seasons, former head coach Wade Phillips was their defensive coordinator. He was the defensive coordinator during the Denver Broncos 2015 Super Bowl run, and felt that Aaron Donald could easily fit into the 3-4 system. He said, if he can't fit in, we're doing the wrong thing. He can probably fit into any defense. Saying he went on to just fit in would be an absolute understatement. Donald walked away with the 2017 NFL Defensive Player of the Year. And really, this marked his emergence from a great to an elite player. And if you thought following up that season would be impossible, back-to-back NFL Defensive Player of the Year awards, and ended up
and honestly, I feel like he low-key was like a person who was kind of sneaky with it. Like, we really don't never hear about Aaron Donald, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, we all know who Aaron Donald is. We all know Aaron Donald's sweet. We all know he's the greatest defensive tackle. We all know that. But we just don't be, I guess because the Rams don't really amount to shit nowadays. But I feel like he's a sneaky dude, bro. He's a sneaky dude.
The league
Sneaky
in
dude,
sacks and tackles for loss. When you combine those two elite seasons, you get 73 solo tackles, 27 assisted tackles, 31.5 sacks, 9 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries in 30 games. Let me remind you that even though he's listed as a defensive end, this is in the 3-4 system. He is still technically an interior defensive tackle. We're used to seeing defensive ends being this dominant, but a defensive tackle, this is when you began seeing comparisons to the all-time greats, such as Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, John Randall, Deacon Jones, Mean Joe Green, Alan Page, etc. At one point, they were the most feared defensive players in the NFL. It's like somebody imported their Madden video game career into real life. It felt like Aaron Donald wasn't even a real player at times. He was simply a freak athlete who would just throw 300+ pound linemen like they were nothing. Well, 600.
How much do we bench, bro? How much do we bench? Let's see if we can get a video of Aaron Donald benching. How much do you bench, bro? Cause he not even that big either, bro. He not even that big. Oh, this is the video that I was talking about. Here we go, right here. This is the video right here.
Guy. Yeah, that's why I wanted to be strong, because my dad. I wanted to live weight. My dad was a big muscle guy, so I got to be like my dad.
My dad, too. Like 5, 6, 7.
Yep.
I was sitting there watching my dad,
I try to
too,
get
right?
down, he's like, no, y'all sit up in step. We sit up in steps and watch and just be amazed by him, man.
Yeah.
And there's Colin. He's in trouble, and he can't get away.
He really was with the Rock. It's casually with the
Really
Rock.
pitting.
Chauncey's a benching highlights, bro.
Good pump.
Alright, buddy. Black Adam, bro. These niggas promoting a movie and shit.
900 and 1,200 plus pound linemen if you take into account the double, triple, and quadruple teams he had to face. Along with being naturally strong, he was extremely quick, not only with his hands, but also with his feet. When a defensive tackle runs a 4.6 in the 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine, they're definitely a freak. Not only was he simply too quick for NFL linemen, he was too quick for some quarterbacks.
Third down. Smith. Pressure comes.
And of course, you can't forget
Bro got jump scared in real life.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, wanted any smoke with Aaron Donald. While he's certainly a nice guy off the field, on the field was a much different story. I've lost count of the amount of times he has grabbed face masks, grabbed players' necks. Hell, during training camp against the Bengals, he grabbed 2 of their helmets and started.
Hey, I wouldn't. Hey, bro. No, I ain't gonna lie. This is disrespectful. If a nigga grab the back of my neck like I'm your child, that's disrespectful, bro. So I do agree.
Hell, during training camp.
But you can't push him, bro. Remember, he deals with 700-pound linemen on a daily basis. Yo, weak ass, you like a goddamn flimsy ass paper napkin, buddy.
Again,
you see how easy he knocked your helmet off.
It's the Bengals.
That could have been your head. And look, he barely even tried to. He really, because you pushed him, he was like, you know that one split second y'all both just push each other. That's literally what it was. He used all his might. He was just like,
grab players' necks. Hell, during training camp against the Bengals, he had grabbed 2 of their helmets and started swinging them. Are you serious? Aaron Donald had it all. The talent, the charisma, and the accolades to put him as a first ballot Hall of Famer, no question. The only thing that was missing was a Super Bowl. You can see he didn't care after losing in the divisional round to the Green Bay Packers. One of the most feared players in NFL history was seen crying on the sidelines. You also have to remember they lost the Super Bowl to the Patriots 2 seasons earlier. Fortunately, he wouldn't have to wait very long to get a second chance. The 2021 season was magical. They traded for Matthew Stafford, ended up trading for Von Miller later in the season, and also signed Odell Beckham Jr. They had these insane playoff battles with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and San Francisco 49ers. But with all of these fancy acquisitions, it was the pick that was made while in St. Louis that ended ended up being the difference maker in becoming world champions. In the NFC Championship game, Donald made the game-clinching play that sent the Rams to the Super Bowl. And of course, who could forget his Ring Me celebration? Then fast forward to the closing plays in the Super Bowl. While on the sidelines, Sean McVay knew exactly who would be making that play.
4th and 1.
Trying to keep it going.
Life on the line.
Down, gets it away, and incomplete. It looked
Life
like
on the
P-Ron
line.
might have had a shot.
And just like against the 49ers, Donald came like a bat out of hell, rushed Burrow, got to him, and after throwing an incompletion, Donald celebrated once again with the Ring Me chant. And that was it. Aaron Donald was finally a champion. There was nothing left to prove. Looking back, he could have retired then and there. But fortunately, he gave us 2 more seasons before finally calling it quits. I will admit, after the 24-23 loss to the Detroit Lions in the wild card, I figured Aaron Donald would come back for 1 more season. But when it was announced he was officially retired...
You know, it's funny because everything Michigan, we just be making everybody retire. Alabama. We won against Alabama. Now Nick Saban want to part his ways. The greatest coach of all time, parting his ways. After Michigan lost. It's something about let's losing to a Detroit, Michigan team.
I completely understood. He ends his career with 543 tackles, 176 for loss, 111 sacks, as well as 24 forced fumbles. Again, as a diehard Rams fan, I am blessed to have seen every single one of these stats. And I can tell you right now that I am never going to see another Rams player like him again. His retirement also marks a symbolic end to the St. Louis Rams era. There are only 5 former St. Louis Rams players still in the league, with one of them still on the Rams. Donald was the last biggest connection from that era.
Damn,
and I didn't
crazy.
realize this at the
I
time.
ain't gonna lie, St. Louis is low-key... It low-key sweet, bro. St. Louis is low-key better, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It just... I don't know. It's just something about it. Just St. Louis. You know what I mean? St. Louis Rams. That's just... It gives like a... It's like a good ring to it. L.A. Rams... Now, we already know they in L.A. just simply because, you know, nice big corporation. They honestly did need a football team in L.A. Now I think about it, because, like... Wait, is it Las Vegas? No. Is it Las Vegas? Is that Raiders? I think it's L.A., right? Isn't it L.A.? I think it's L.A. Rams, yeah. So, yeah, even if it matters, if it's L.A. or Las Vegas, same shit, bro. They in these big cities, you know what I mean? And a lot of money going around. So I understand, bro. You know what I mean? They living good, bro. LA, LV, they living good.
Last biggest connection from that era.
I understand. And it's like playing for the Miami Heat, bro. It's like playing for the Miami Heat or the Dolphins. Like, you in Miami, bro. You rich as hell and you Miami, bro. Like, that's the dream.
At the time they won the Super Bowl, but him having the biggest impact really says a lot, because if that pick isn't made while in St. Louis, they certainly, and I mean 100% certainly, don't reach the Super Bowl. Even though I never saw any of the St. Louis teams make the playoffs, I at least watched the best player from that era win a Super Bowl. And to me, that officially closes the chapter on that era. Aaron Donald is the greatest St. Louis/LA Ram of all time. It's no debate in my mind when you end your career as a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time First Team All-Pro, and made the Pro Bowl for 10 straight seasons. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. That puts him in another exclusive category. Only him and running back Barry Sanders.
Hey bro, everything about the Lions. Come on.
NFL history to have made the Pro Bowl in each of their 10 seasons. Think of all of the defensive players that have graced the NFL, and Aaron Donald is the only one to have done that. Honestly,
that's kind of crazy.
It's fitting he goes out like
that's
this.
Actually kind of
Barry
crazy.
Sanders went out on the top of his game, and now Aaron Donald is doing the exact same. He revolutionized the defensive game and will now be mentioned among the all-time.
It's like, bro, just seeing this clip right here.
He revolutionized.
You see how he reached his hand up? He like,
the game.
I'm coming for that ass. For that
and
ass.
will now be mentioned as all-time greatest forever. In the upcoming
Caught the
years,
ball?
you're
Wait a
going to
minute.
hear so
What happened?
many
Wait, whoa, whoa, whoa.
comparisons
What's the
when
rest of that play?
defensive tackle starts dominating to Aaron Donald. But I can assure you, let me just say right now, that there will never be another Aaron Donald.
Okay, WV, I ain't gonna lie. Yo, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? You'll start checking this dude out, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Hey.